How to select your target market if you are starting a business online. Before we get into that, let's talk about what a target market is. More specifically, let's first talk about quickly what a market is. A market is a place where people go to find solutions to their specific problems. Let's say you are hungry. So you have a problem. You're hungry, you need to survive, therefore you need to buy food. In order to solve that problem, you are likely to go to a farmer's market to buy some food and then satisfy your hunger, thereby solving the problem. Another example of a market to where you can go and satisfy this problem, solve this problem, is a grocery store, which also serves food. That's also a market. A restaurant is also a market that sells food, therefore solving your hunger problem. In general, markets are everywhere. If there is a place where you can go to buy things, to buy solutions to your problems, whether it's a product or a service, that place is a market. In the online world, a market is also, the market analogy is also applicable. You go to Facebook to satisfy your boredom problem, and then the Facebook sells you entertainment and you pay with attention. That's how it works. It's still a marketplace as broadly defined as that. A target market is a market where you go to find people who have a specific problem that you want to solve. That's how you need to think about selecting a target market. Where is the place where people hang out who have the problems that you are trying to solve? Now, in order to select a target market, the first thing that I usually think about is what kind of problem do I want to solve? There are two types of problems. There are problems that you have, and then there are problems that other people have. You have two options. You can either solve your own problem and then go and find people who have the same problem and then solve it for them, or you can find out what problems other people have and then go and try to solve those problems. In this case, you have to go find people who have those problems. In both problem types, the steps are very simple to find the target market. And it is identify the problem, figure out where the people that have that problem hang out, and go and speak to them to validate that that they have this problem, and then offer a solution and then test out your solution with these people to see if that problem is actually solved by your solution. And once you've done that 2, 3, 5, 10 times, you have now identified your target market. Let's rewind a little bit back. Let's talk about problems. We all have problems. Some problems are extremely difficult to solve. Some problems are very easy to solve. Some problems are constant. They happen every day and you just have to deal with them. Some problems are once in a blue moon and you just have to deal with them as they come. A great example is this, for example. Let's say you are a business and you have to pay your taxes to the government. So every year, let's say around April, you have a problem. You need to go and look at all your receipts. You need to go find your receipts, look at all your receipts. You need to tally everything up. Then you need to look at each entry and then figure out whether this entry is applicable. Can you claim it as a taxable entry or not? Then you have to compile all this information, fill out the forms, send it into the government, and then hopefully get some money back and not pay too many taxes. So that's a once a year type of problem. And this problem, though it's once a year, it's actually pretty big and very painful. So if you can solve that problem for the business, then and for the say small businesses, then you found your target market. Another type of problem, which is kind of persistent, happens all the time, is let's say you own a store and then you have to clean the store, keep the store clean, because customers like to walk into a clean store, and if the store is dirty, It creates a bad impression, so customers don't want to buy stuff in a dusty store. So that problem is like an everyday problem. Now, because it's an everyday problem, people kind of get used to it. And when people get used to it, they don't think of it as a problem, rather they think of it as an annoyance. But it's there. It's an everyday problem because dust comes in. You need to clean your store. Maybe not every day, maybe every 2 days, every 3 days, depending on what's happening around. Now, if you want to go and sell a service to cleaning service to these businesses, this is also a pretty good problem to solve because everybody needs it. And if the business owner is busy doing other things and she doesn't have time to clean, then you found your target market. And if you find enough of those businesses to go and clean their premises, then you have found your target market, and you have a problem that you solve, and then you have a solution, which is cleaning solution, to satisfy that problem, to solve that problem and make money. So now you've selected your target market, you've identified, you've validated. There's two types of problems. One is persistent but not too painful, and the other one is once a year but extremely painful. So when you're looking at problems and you're trying to identify that target market, you need to identify the problem. It has to be painful, and it has to be either persistent or so painful and that people remember it throughout the year. So in the tax example, people remember the tax pains that they have to go through every April. So you just kind of need to remind them and solve that at that particular time. If you are trying to sell, not a problem, but you're trying to sell what's usually called a vitamin, which is something that's not painful, but something that you want to look forward to, like a benefit, then it becomes extremely difficult to sell. Most businesses work on problems. Most businesses have problems that they want to solve those problems. Selling something that's not a problem but a promise is twice as hard to sell, and finding a target market for it is a little bit more difficult. But there's a solution to that. You can take the promise and you can convert it into a problem. So for example, if you want to sell, let's say you're selling marketing services, and the promise that you can offer is to help the business make more money, right? That's a very, very, very common promise. But most businesses, even though they want to make more money, they don't really hook into that very easily. You might see it and be like, yes, I do want to make more money. But a much better way to find the target market is to find the businesses who don't have enough leads and need to actually get more leads or get more clients and all of that stuff, and then to make more money. So the problem there is we don't have enough customers. We're running out of business. That problem is much more acute, much more painful than the problem of, or the promise of, we're going to make you $1 million. I mean, it's nice. Everybody's kind of want it. But if you already have the money, you're not really going to pay attention to these things too much. But if you don't have money, that's a more acute, more painful problem. So you take the make more money promise and you convert it into a problem statement, which is don't have enough clients. Is your client number going down, or is your lead pipeline empty? That's a problem that people can immediately relate to and immediately feel the pain of. So once you've identified the problem, that is your target market. Now, if you're just starting out, or if you're just trying to figure out your business process and figure out how to get more leads into your business, I built a roadmap to help you get your first 1,000 leads or your next 1,000 leads, depending on what your current situation in business. Download the roadmap link below, and if you enjoy it, implement it, and if you have any questions, send me an email after we get introduced in the roadmap email sequence, and I can answer any questions that you may have. All right, I'll see you next time.